Hey Zehra, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. And yourself?
Good, thank you very much. Great.
Good. Okay, so this is a reimagining of, such an iconic movie franchise. How much pressure did you feel to give this story justice?
God, it's immense pressure. It's an incredibly beloved franchise that sort of hasn't been touched for a few years and has had some more and some less successful, new versions of it. And the reason I took it on was frankly because it's my daughter's most beloved movie in the entire world. And it felt like an opportunity that I couldn't pass by. She had watched the original so many times, it was kind of eye bleeding. And I, at the same time, had never made a movie that she could even see a single frame of because they're all so remarkably inappropriate. So my mission was to do something that would make her feel like her father was worthwhile in some sense, and a movie that she could, instead of having to watch the original for the 30th time at her birthday party or a sleepover, she might be able to put this one on and just go, I like this one too. So the pressure was real.
Yeah. And it's actually, you kept to the original theme, but the story behind our so-called villains differs quite a lot from the originals. What was the inspiration behind that?
Well, again, we wanted to make it feel distinct from the original somehow. Obviously, Macaulay is iconic in that, and it would sort of be foolish, I think, to try and replicate that. So we wanted to flip it on its head and change where our sympathies lay, and it felt like a fresh iteration on a theme. And obviously, Rob and Ellie are brilliant performers, amazing comic talents, and so it felt right to put the burden of the movie on their shoulders, and it felt like a fresh idea to sympathize with burglars. That's kind of it's sort of an odd take on something where you just go, okay, I'm in support of who should nominally be a baddie. There are these two people breaking into a kid's house, which seems like about the worst thing you could do, but at the same time we want to empathize and sympathize with them.
Yeah. And thankfully as well, you've also got Devin Ratray, who played Kevin's older brother Buzz in the original films, and again he reprises his role as Buzz McCallister. How did that happen?
I mean, just Streeter and Maki, who wrote the script brilliantly, had this idea, which was a stroke of genius, to make the kind of the bullying, unsympathetic older brother from the original into a policeman, which seemed like a sort of an interesting character development for him, and just to see where Buzz had got to in his life, I think is very satisfying for people, and to see what became of him is interesting development from the original movies. So we were kept our fingers crossed that he would read it and like it and respond to it, and he did, and is brilliant in the movie, I think.
Yeah, definitely sets the tone right. We also actually get quite a few little nods to the McCallister family, especially the home security setup. But we never get to find out who started up that company. Was it intentional to put that into the minds of the older audiences, thinking maybe it could be Kevin?
Well, I think, again, it's about finding that sort of balance of homage and keeping the new one fresh and distinct. So we wanted to, give throw a little hint as to, perhaps what might have happened to Kevin and what, would be an interesting life path for him. So it's there to make of as we will, and there's a little kind of Easter egg and a little hint of something. So and who knows where that may lead in the future.
Yeah, and Archie Yates as well, who plays Max, which is the film's lead. How did you come about finding him?
So obviously the big challenge was going to be to find the kid at the center of Home Alone, and as you say, it's slightly different this time round because it's less about the kids and slightly more about the people breaking in and the parents in this version. But obviously incredibly crucial to find the right person. And we were searching, we were looking, we were already starting to see people. Then I sat down and went to a screening of Jojo Rabbit and just was hit by a kind of eureka thunderbolt moment where Archie came on screen and just thought, that's about the most adorable thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And from that moment, I was smitten.
Okay, and finally, for those diehard fans of the franchise, what would you say to them to convince them to watch this film?
What I would say is, hopefully, it's an affectionate homage to the original. It feels distinct and fresh and new enough. It's not a remake. It's not a direct sequel. It's a development, and we're not destroying the original movie. We're all huge fans of it. Nobody is saying you can't watch that or we have to burn every copy of the VHS and nobody can ever see that again. I think this can live alongside and feels absolutely different enough that you can enjoy both.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Great to chat.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey, you